did let go of the ball on that account, and the referee, I think, kind of was a bit fair in saying, try and keep hold of the ball, mate, sort of thing. But yeah, very.
I'd always rather though our officials went down that category and did encourage the players to keep hold of the ball, right?
I agree.
Because what you'll see if you don't is you'll see players dropping it and throwing it away and trying to exploit that rule. If you're encouraging, saying a loose carry is something that we will not care about or that we will make sure is enforced, then that encourages people to work on their ball security and encourages players and coaches to try and train that as much as you can, and it stops them trying to take advantage.
Yeah, but I mean, they got lucky with a little bit of that to an extent, but I support the way the ref saw that, like you say. So interesting one there. I'm sure things even themselves out and all of that, and these two sides are still going to both be challenging to go up the table now rather than just get into that top 8. I feel both of these two sides have shown enough good form recently, and I don't think, like I say, Catalans should feel too perturbed by this game. They should go to Leeds still very confident on Wednesday, and that will really shake things up if they win there. They still won't quite get into the 8, but it'll they'll put Leeds and Leeds under huge pressure, Wakefield under a bit of pressure too, as well as Huddersfield. So exciting times ahead there. From the stats, Huddersfield had over 100 metres less than Catalan and went at 1.4 metres per cane. 1.4 metres per carry worse average gain, but they did muster 2 more clean breaks and had a 4% better team tackle success rate with a very impressive overall 97% as a team. That's really high. Discipline hurt the French side. They lost the penalty count 14-4. So you can sort of understand the refs fault in with a count like that, but at the same time, I'm almost certain they'll all have been penalties. And you gotta move on.
They have got form. If you look at some of their matches this season, they're not the side you'd expect to not give chances in that sort of respect, would you?
No, exactly. But it was a decisive factor. It was the one stat that hugely swung against them, other than the tackle success rate. So you got to say it was a factor in this game. Individually, in the stats, Jerry McGilvray. In the England side, in the England squad, and put a great stake to be back in that England shirt with 2 tries, 192 metres, 2 clean breaks, showed a bit of toe on his interception try, a classic Jerry McGilvray, getting the right position for your ball from your inside men and fall over the line try as well. So he is back to some sort of form there. Alex Mellor continues his strong run of form and went well both ways again this week with a try, 46 tackles, 10 mark tackles. Seb Ikehifo's having a resurgence, which is good for the Giants to see. 111 metres from him, and Lee Gaskell 102 metres. Individually for the Dragons, Josh Drinkwater, 3 try assists that we mentioned there. His kicking game causing all sorts of havoc. Mikel Simon 147 metres and Julien Bousquet 123 metres, so a couple of the big Frenchmen rotating into that forward pack and picking up the yards there. And Greg Bird 110 metres, with Bird again playing the standoff role, but playing as a sort of running standoff there. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on.
Yeah, Friday night's other game.
Yes, Friday night's other game. The TV game. And it was a humdinger, if that expression still exists. It finished Leeds 22, Saints 23, in front of 12,106. The South Stand opened with a bigger capacity this time, and Ben Failer as referee.
Yeah, that middle's opened up. They've managed to put the band right in front of the commentary position, which I don't think worked out well for everyone.
No.
Do you want to give us the first of the fan reviews?
Yeah, we started off with Carsten. He said, "Forget the World Cup. How good is Rugby League?" A really fast game, which was exciting till the end. Ben Failer with a good job to keep the speed up and players in line. That only leaves Wally Frogmore's point. How is it possible that Cristiano Ronaldo gets more exposure than Ben Barber?
Well, he plays a sport that's more globally supported, I suppose, would be the easy answer.
And that has a bigger international game.
Yeah, but certainly Benny Barber has the skills. in this sport that Cristiano Ronaldo displays in the round ball code. Rich Wilkinson said, gutted but not that downbeat. Lots of positives against a practically full strength Saints. We have to kick on now, beat Catalan, and we are 3 points off running Hull down, and I predict we will finish above them. 8 definite starters due back in the next week or two, which will see us turn the corner. I'm also predicting Leeds will nick the 4th spot after the Super 8s. Loving being written off again. Well, yeah, that run of getting people back isn't exactly flying great with Stevie Ward ruled out of the Catalans game, it seems.
He is made of biscuits. He's fast becoming Leeds' O'Loughlin.
I don't think he's made of biscuits. I just think that he puts himself in positions to get hurt a lot with the efforts he puts in. That's what I would say more about Ward. He doesn't seem to get like off the ball injuries. He doesn't seem to get like small injuries for a few weeks and stuff like that. It's either he's clattered his head because he's made 50 odd tackles, or he's busted his knee because he got whacked, sort of thing, innit, with Steve Ward.
True. More feedback. Paul Chamberlain said, I thought this came down to Leeds dominating the game, but St Helens dominating the moments are brilliant, and that ultimately won them the game. At least weakened Leeds and Hull sides show that they can be got at. Also, what is it with the haircuts of Leeds Academy centres? They're all circa 1930s lunatic asylum methods.
Paul has definitely upped his game this week. That is
good one. Yeah,
that is. I did think that.
I mean, Leeds are dodgy haircut central, aren't they? Because they've got Anthony Mullally, so they're never going to be.
Yeah,
they're never going to be winning any prizes there.
There's this like super short back and sides thing is not for me, but it's a scourge of our whole game, it seems like. But I think some of these little kids with their big ears and baby faces don't necessarily rock it as well as some of the bigger guys who just look hard, that's for sure. St David said, watched on my iPad in a Fort William hostel with Spain versus Portugal on in the background, and what a game it was. Leeds threw everything at us with high risk offloads which kept coming off even when the ball hit the deck. Saints couldn't seem to shut them down and got some poor calls from Thaler in the second half, but kept to their plan, and eventually, thrillingly, it played off. Danny Rich with his best Sean Long impersonation.
What has he got? A silly tattoo and done some dubious betting.
Yeah, and his eyes permanently open. Like, well, it's not, but that's just what he did for jokes.
Cutthroat Jake said, yet another loss by a point, and yet I don't feel disheartened. With 10 players out, we should have lost by more. Great effort from Mitch Garbutt, showing why I've been missing, and the youngsters showed great enthusiasm. We may not have won, but this performance would have done us the world of good. Now all we have to do is actually win a game. I definitely agree with that. It was a brilliant performance from
really
Leeds.
Was, yeah.
Because both games, I thought they dragged an extra level out of each other, whereas sometimes you see it go the other way. If a team is playing badly, it drags the other team down to the level. I think Saints kind of dragged Leeds up to an extent and played a game they could play, and it was just such a brilliantly fast game. If you watched, certainly from the beginning, the first probably half an hour, it was just electric.
No, it was thrilling to watch, and Leeds' offloading game that came up there in the fan reviews was a big part of that, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it effectively buys you an extra tackle, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah, and Saints have been good at keeping energy in the bank in this game, but so far this season, but that takes it out of them, and it didn't pay off in the end, because Saints did have that great comeback. The whole never write off the Saints business and all of that, but it's certainly going to be a great learning experience for some of these young kids. I mean, Tom Holroyd didn't really get on the pitch, but Cameron Smith is looking every bit a Super League player. More and more I see him playing for the Leeds Rhinos. Harry Newman obviously got a go. He had a few weak defensive moments. That's fair to say, but he's a little kid. He's barely 18 years of age, and so it's a big ask for him there.
And the good thing was as well, they responded to it, so that when they kept Dyer and Parcel on the pitch together, that responded to that quick game because it upped the tempo in itself.
No, exactly. I think the one thing,
and I think that really helped.
The one thing that Leeds might look back on a little bit is the fact that they played expansive, exciting, attacking rugby for 4 tackles. For 5 tackles, sorry, and then for the last tackle, they kicked it dead. Now I understand the game plan behind that completely.
Yeah. If you're facing Ben Barber, that's your weapon. You know, that's the way to neutralise that weapon, isn't it?
No, of course, and also to an extent, Regan Grace is very dangerous in broken play when he can duck under arms and then get penalties off the back of that, or just get through off the back of that. That's where his kind of strengths lie. And also, Tommy Makinson just runs absolute powerhouse lines, doesn't he? When he's running the ball out. So there's a lot of danger there from that back three. But a few of the times, Leeds passed up attacking the opportunity to put in an attacking kick, and you've got to remember, as Leeds shows at their end of the field, they've got some guys at the back there that can win some high kicks, that can take the ball in the air. Ryan Hall did it expertly on that short kickoff, for example, which was a fantastic part of the game, a great exciting part of the game, and it really did add to the value of this game. But they didn't put in kicks to threaten on the last tackle enough. That surprised me, really, that they didn't do a few of the occasions, especially the ones where it ended up going dead for 7 tackle sets. You're not really getting the benefit from that then.
That's true, yeah.
So that's
you're not utilising that,
isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't terrible. It was a mischoice. It wasn't a terrible execution.
Okay.
I've watched enough terrible execution this year to tell you that. I think certainly early on in the game, Saints looking very ominous sort of early on, but just before, sort of 10 minutes from half time, the Johnny Lomax try, the support line he was running for that was absolutely first class, and he was just ready to pounce on wherever that ball was coming from.
Yeah,
and I thought he's just been brilliant, and I think that's shown an extra level to his game this year when he's not had to carry everything himself, where he's had Richardson to do work for him, he's had Barber as an extra threat. It's allowed him that extra space to come and create something of himself.
I was hugely impressed by the Percival try when Saints turned play back inside. It basically created a huge overlap, knowing that there's going to be that over chase. And
it was Richardson shaking inside, wasn't he? Shake his shoulders, darted in, and he just had that extra hole because you had the twin threat then, because you had threats coming on both sides, so the defenders are at 6s and 7s knowing where the ball's coming from.
Yeah, but you've got to have a bit of an eye on the fact that Ben Barber hasn't moved to the open side on the last tackle play. There's a learning there for the young Leeds defenders, but I certainly think that.
But equally, you know that Barber's not the only place it's coming from. It's not like we've got a team that's going to be set up around him. You've got so many strike weapons.
You do have a second fullback almost in Lomax, the way he'd react to a kick. Yeah, I do get that. Yeah. Yeah.
Or you've got Richardson darting for himself on his own.
I think that period of this game said a lot for what's for the how thrilling the game could have been, really was, because Leeds basically went up the other end of the pitch and scored that barge over try on the last tackle themselves with Mitch Garbutt. Now that was a brilliant subtle setup play, a subtle setup for an absolute power finish, and that was when I realised Leeds weren't just a plucky team who played well in that first half. They've shot in this game, and they went on to take the lead for the first time after that with Liam Sutcliffe penalty goal after he'd missed a previous penalty, and even Brett Ferris showed some magic footwork, kind of nudging the ball through for himself and then not taking it far enough in for the kick.
You mean former England hooker Brett Ferris?
Yeah, not taking it far enough in close to the sticks, and Liam Sutcliffe missed that goal, and that goal kept it at a 6-point margin rather than an 8-point margin, and probably that was when Saints felt never write us off sort of thing. Saints then had a few chances. Ryan Morgan scored a try, but there was also a couple of other chances I think that went begging really for them before Richardson scored that field goal too. I think it always felt like Saints were going to be the team that found that position in that possession, but Leeds didn't learn